All right, folks, happy Monday. Most people don't normally say that, and most people have to work on Mondays, so I'm off today. We're going to be doing some gaming later on, but we have a few hours here where we can work on a few hours, yeah, a couple hours for sure. Work on some stuff here. Now, I've been working on my Hungarian project. We almost have the fourth night complete. These guys are over here. This is the fourth night that we have going on, and he is nearly complete. He doesn't have much to be done on him. And is he nearly complete? Oh, sorry, wrong one. My bad. This guy. Okay, and yeah, we finished up doing his emblem here on the back. So we'll get to him in a moment. But one thing I wanted to do that I started my day off yesterday with on Sunday morning was making these two banners out of green stuff. Now I'm kind of a noob to this, but Marty wanted me to make a couple banners for his Carthaginian chariots. Here's a couple of Essex Carthaginian chariots, and he wanted the commander to have a big, to have a banner, and so does the other one. So I figured, well, the commander's got to have the big one. So we made these out of green stuff yesterday, epoxy putty, and we're gonna paint these up and because rumor is he's supposed to come by this evening to play some games with us. So hopefully we'll get this done. All right. So first things first. Let's go ahead and prime them. Now, I normally in my painting don't wait for something to dry. So I don't know how long this is going to take to dry, but we're going to switch over to the nights in the meantime. So until then. Now, I don't think I'm going to have to pour any of this out somewhere. Look at that. I just opened it and already got some stuff on me. A little bit. Okay, so let's get us a brush that we don't care too much about. And as always, take my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. And make this up. Now, I'm going to try to grab these in a place where I'm not going to really interfere with. See if we can do this. I may not be able to. I'd like to get it all painted, but I may end up having to leave a little tip there at the bottom. I've done a little bit with epoxy putty. I've built a couple turbines, and I have made a cloak for a figure. But this is definitely the most ambitious thing that I've done with it. And I know you're probably thinking, well, that's not very ambitious. You just made a couple banners. I said, yeah, but I'm new to this. So that doesn't mean I'm not going to make more things. I just haven't had really a reason to do something more creative. But we'll see how this turns out. I didn't want to make them out of paper or tin foil because I want them to be a little bit more durable. We'll see how that goes. All right. And this is a pretty non-porous surface, so it might take a little bit to dry. It may take 30 minutes or so. We'll go work on some nights in between then. So now, as this was drying out, this stuff is almost like working with a piece of gum. But as it was drying out last night, I cut some little slots in the bottom of this one, as I figured that would have needed to be the fancier one. Guy at the top of the pyramid gets the fancier banner. So it dries very slow, very, very slow. But I guess that's good if you're doing sculpting of figures or something like that. Not so good if you're like me, that you're used to going from one stage into the next, but I don't think I'll be sculpting any figures or anything with this stuff. But enhancing them, sure, why not? And of course, we're going to use my layering technique to paint on there, so you don't have to. I don't have to worry if this isn't completely covered in the first pass, because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the dark. We're going to paint the whole thing in the dark shade. Now, when I was painting this, I ended up cutting it. I mean, when I was sculpting this, I ended up cutting some of the side, more down the sides, and it left a little piece there on the end, so. That actually worked really well. Make the banner bigger, and then you can always cut it with an X-Acto knife, so. As it hardens, because you don't want to do that while it's like taffy. Okay. I think we're about done with this, so let's go ahead and set this off to the side. We'll come back to it later, and because we need this to dry completely before. That's the wrong glasses. It's not a good idea to put readers on when you're night-sighted, when you're nearsighted. You're not going to see much. All right, we'll put this out of sight here, and let's go grab a paint palette and do a little bit of painting and so forth. Now, the chariots we're going to put these guys on are red. I didn't paint them. I'm not sure who painted them, but these are the two chariots. They're, as far as I can tell, identical. One guy's got a blonde guy, another guy's got a brown-haired guy on there. So, but other than that, horses and everything are painted identically. So I think what I'm doing is the big banner. I'm going to make it in red, since it's mostly red, and we'll do this one with we'll do the larger banner red with white things on it, and we'll do the other one white with red things, the smaller one. So. That's my thought on it. So, okay, we'll set that off to the side for a little bit, for about 30 minutes or so. That's kind of priority when that gets done. So we'll stop doing the nights. The night project isn't going to be done tonight. It's going to be it's just an ongoing thing, but I'd like to have the stuff ready for Marty to take a look at. You're working on something for somebody, you need to go ahead and get it over with before it gets lost with all your other things. So, and you get these guys in and out of here. All right. You can see that the sponge is still moist. Okay. And make sure that's on here, and we're going to do a focus point there. All right, this is still in the way. Let's get on out of here. I don't like being crowded on the painting area. Okay, so where do we leave off on this dude? Oh, we were still doing this the standard metallics. Well, let's see if this stuff is still alive, or we need to put some more down. Now, brush we were using, probably something like this one. This one will probably be fine. Oh, that's in the wrong place. Yeah, this is pretty cluttered for me, but it isn't for most of the pictures I see people's workspaces. People have some crazily crowded workspaces. But hey, whatever works for you. That just doesn't work for me. I'm get pulled off task too easily. Okay, let's move this a little closer. And if you're just joining us, you haven't missed anything. Okay, back to the metallics. Let's see if we got some. There we go. Yeah, it's still alive. All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish up painting this knight here. All the metallic parts on him. So yeah, no working today on a Monday, but you know, I never dreaded Mondays. Because on a Monday, you're guaranteed to have had at least one day off. You know, assuming you're working a normal Monday through Friday and occasionally a Saturday schedule. It's Friday, I hate. Because nobody wants to work. You got to get things done, and nobody at the office wants to get anything done. And you're just freaking tired from the whole week. So that's just me. As I like to say, whoever came up with TGIF was some bastard that only worked 4/10s. So, which is actually not that uncommon in my line of work. A lot of people only work 4/10s. So, unfortunately, nobody our plant. I'd love to have a 3-day weekend every weekend. So yeah, this is just standard fare, painting the armor on this dude. As always, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, on topic or off topic, keep me entertained so I can start my monologue. As always, that's always welcome. And you know, we'll get through this. Gotta wait. I should have taken. I think it's been like 5 minutes. See how long this takes for this guy to dry. Yeah, it's not going to take. It's not going to take long. That's some pretty cool stuff, that Vallejo surface primer. I've only been using that for a couple of months now, and I've been really happy with it. Mainly because it flows really well, it has no smell, and it's a part of the process of painting that I really dislike, is painting everything in black. So anything that it flows a lot better and allows that process to go smoother, and I'm a big fan of. So I really dislike priming figures. I was using Model Master Acryl for a long time, flat black, and there was no longer a place to get it here in town, and so I switched to Model Master Black Enamel, which you paint with enamels, but I don't mind you know, doing it for that because it is a little bit more durable. It's supposed to be anyways, and so I did that for a number of years, and but the problem is that now they don't carry flat black either. The only place we have in town that would even remotely have something like that would be, say, Hobby Lobby, and testers recently got bought out by Rust-Oleum, and in doing so, they reduced a lot of the paints that they make, at least that they're the display at many of the stores are reduced. That's as far as I understand it, and that was one of the colors that kind of went is no longer carried. So I mean, I could do semi-gloss, and I've done some of it, but it just adds extra shine, which just distracts you as you're trying to pick out these spots. But both the tester's enamel and the acryl were gumming up on me really quick. Their bottle system of closing, frankly, sucks, and it doesn't take long for you not to get a good seal on it and get you know, paint and stuff everywhere where you don't want it to as you're closing it. So they dry up and get gummy, and the acryl behaves really weird, like almost like taffy. And the enamel can be brought back to life with mineral spirits, enamel thinner, what have you. And that's what I was doing, is I was bringing it back to life as I was painting the primer. So I'm not sure how I found out about the Vallejo primer. I'm a big fan of the Vallejo paints. I've been using them for a long time, mostly because when they hit the scene, they were the only ones that I was aware of that used the dropper ends. So I was already painting this style when I discovered the dropper ends. So they were the first ones that, so I could just put a little bit of paint and work on it. Yeah, I just really liked them, but I didn't know about the Vallejo surface primer. You know, I look at Vallejo surface primer, and nothing in that name would have told me that this would have been useful for miniatures. It seems like it would be something for, say, you know, actual artwork or paintings or something like that. At least that would be me. I wouldn't have just picked it up just out of nowhere. But I think I saw a review on YouTube or something like that, and I'm like, well, this is cool, and it's black, and I think they make it in white and gray. So it was just a good fit for me, and yeah. Hopefully we'll be using that for a long time. It is very pricey, but it is a huge quantity. So, you know, and you don't use a whole lot of it. So I highly recommend it. And it's supposed to be self-leveling and all that stuff. It doesn't mean I'm not just going to slop the paint on there and just hope for the best. You know, I'm not going to dip it in there and just let the rest slide off. So and of course, they didn't have that in stores. We had to use good old Amazon. So I would rather buy things in my local store if I can, because I can get it immediately. Um, and But that is not always the case. As a matter of fact, the basing material I use by Liquitex, I found out about it on a craft store called Michael's here in the States, and they stopped carrying it after a couple of years. Maybe I was the only one buying it. I don't know. They have other art supply stuff and lots of Liquitex items. They just don't have. They just don't carry that one anymore. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, we're going to do a little bit of painting. We should have some gaming later on. Of course, you guys won't see that today. You'll have to wait till tomorrow to see that. But we've got some stuff planned the next couple days. So that's the plan anyways. Hopefully it won't change. If you know anything about me, if I make plans and they change, it's against my will. I can't stand that, you know. Just like at work, you got to plan a lot, and things just go to shit. So, not my preference. I'm almost done with this guy. And then, of course, the next step will be non-oil time, which isn't an oil at all. Somebody asked me the other day. I think it was yesterday. They said, you know, they didn't know what this non-oil was, and this is what this is. This is the Citadel Shade. All it is basically a wash. It's a pre-mixed wash, and it, for what I use it for is this is like the darkest. This is the darkest metallic that they make. I'm pretty sure that's not like a really dark like 10 bits or something like that. The old one that used to be called 10 bits. I don't know what it's called now, but this is the darkest silver gray chainmail type of metallic that they make. So I'll paint everything in this, and then I'll give it a wash. So after it's done, I've basically created a darker shade of this. Then I'll go and I'll lighten up with this, and then I'll lighten up with the next shade up, which is, what do they call it these days? Iron Breaker. Okay. And if I was doing a sword or something like that, I would go with good old Mithril Silver from the 1980s. I'm not sure what it's called now. They changed the name of all their paint colors, which sounds stupid, but it's actually probably a good thing, because that way, you know, if the old Mithril Silver, and I'm talking about this guy right here, this guy's from like, you know, this guy's from the 1980s. So this is when I got it. It's still alive. You know, I don't know what the newest version of it is, but it's not called Mithril Silver. But that way you can tell them apart. But anyhow, that's a little bit about what this Nuln Oil is. It's not oil at all. It's still water-based. So, okay. I just like these paints that have no smell. That's just a big plus. I'm used to working on my hobby indoors. So it's really weird for me if I'm doing something like, say, stripping cars for Gaslands, which I haven't done in about a year. I got to use, you know, acetone or some really nasty smelling stuff. The best one is that citrus strip, but which is like a gel. It's like an orange gel, and I guess you could use it indoors, but I don't live alone, so they don't want me to do that. So, but it's not toxic smelling. That's good stuff, by the way. Citrus strip. If you guys are looking for like a metal stripper or something like that, it's supposedly it's a nightmare on plastic. So you can't strip plastic with it. So I've heard. But on metal, it'll take everything off, and it's just like a gel. So you almost like brush it on with a crappy brush and let it sit on there, and then scrub it later. Okay. Let's give these guys a wash. Now, we're going to avoid this shield. We spent a hell of a lot of time on this shield, so we want to make sure we don't booger that up. But we're going to get close. Not that we couldn't fix it. We just don't need to fix that. I don't need to undo stuff we've already done. That's counterproductive. I rarely have a day off Monday through Friday, especially this year. This is the take it or leave it week. We're about to get really busy at work, so if I didn't take these days off here, I was not going to get an opportunity to take vacation days before Christmas. As it is, I'm probably going to have to walk out away from several of them on the table, but it is what it is. I have to do everything before I go to work. You know, like if I'm gone for a week, I need to do all the work that's going to happen in that week. I don't have anybody really to cover for me. So if it's super busy, I just create a shit ton of work for myself beforehand for like 2 or 3 days. And then the next 2 days that I get back are just a nightmare. So I don't take a day off unless it's absolutely necessary, because it's just, it's self-imposed torture. So yeah, just one of them things. So I won't be working again for a week, but I will be going in next Sunday. That's the plan, anyways. Go in on Sunday and fix stuff, so we can hit the ball running on Monday. Monday, whatever it is. Is it the 30th? I think something like that. I don't even know what day the other day was like. I didn't have the Sunday blues for once. You know, because it didn't feel like a Sunday. Because I still had 8 days off. So. Okay, that's about all we need to do on this guy. And we're gonna let this dry. Now we're gonna go see if the banners are dry yet, because that would be the normal. That would be a good transitioner to roll into that. And okay, let's close this up here and see how we're doing. Oh yeah, that's good. We're gonna do a little banner first. Obviously. Obviously, we're going to do the little banner first. All right, we're going to keep using this. We should be able to paint on this. This makes one thing that's actually really nice to hold these things on, as soon as I find one. Oh, here it is. Probably should have done this first. This is what I was doing before. I was doing the old helping hands thing. That's what these things are called. Just take a little piece of cork. There you go. Done. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other one. Cork. Cork is so expensive here in the States. Well, like these little guys aren't, but I'm just saying cork in general, really expensive. Jeez. But our wood's cheap. Compared to Europe, of course. All the cork, I understand, comes from Portugal, which is a lot farther away from here than it is from the UK. So, all right, we'll put these little helping hands away. All right, we're just going to paint these guys on here. All right, so we're going to do a white banner for one of them. And, of course, we're going to have the symbol of Tanit. I don't know exactly what the backstory is of it. I don't want to try to guess because I'll end up getting wrong. There's probably some Carthaginian expert on that. I'm not an expert on the Carthaginians, but that is, well, we need just to paint the whole damn thing in one color, so we don't need to get extra small. All right, so first things first, we're going to paint this banner, and we're going to make it linen looking, okay? So we're going to grab is there some brown here we can use? There is. Okay, cool. What's here? Oh, this is the area where I was rolling this stuff. Right. Well, we don't want to deal with a sticky thing the whole time. So let's flip this and go here. Ah, there we go. Or maybe that is the side I had on. Okay, perfect. All right. So let's find us a spot over here where nothing exciting is happening. And we'll take the little banner here, and the first thing we're going to do is let's paint the banner wood color. All right, so let's take some of this and black. Almost always have to use black in the beginning. I don't have to, I choose to, but we're going to paint the most negative shade of the brown. Okay. And just like my figures, I am resting this cork on my painting table with it, which is extremely secure. It doesn't bounce or anything. And I don't, as I like to say, I don't paint in midair. So I don't, you won't see me painting here in the middle of nowhere. I honestly don't know how people can do that. Good for them. I can't do that. I gotta be rested. It'd be really tiring even if I could do it. So I don't want to get tired doing this. Usually the first thing that gets tired on me is sitting on my ass. That's usually the part that gets tiring. So, although today the shoulders are hurting a little bit, but we did some well-needed exercise before this, so it's probably some of that. A lot easier to get your exercise in when you got all day to do it, instead of hurry and do it before you go to work. So take advantage of that. Okay, and we'll switch to this one. We're just going to switch back and forth to them as we go. Not that I can't paint on it while it's wet, but it works better if it isn't. Hey, John Peter, good morning, or good afternoon to you. Enjoy my week off. Well, there's lots of stuff to do this week. But right now, I'm the only person here. Just like the old days. Just like the old days. No kids, no wives, no pets, no distractions. Huh? Got any more of this we can get our hands on? There we go. Let's use this. I mentioned other times I really enjoy painting things that are, say, made of wood that aren't wood. I enjoy it. Now, we said the small banner was going to be white as a base color, and the large banner was going to be red. Well, that's what we said, apt to change at any moment. So that's at least my what I'm going in with. So we're going to paint the small banner first. Hopefully learn what we, I've painted a lot of flags and stuff, so it's not like I haven't done this before. But we want this to look good. Just because it's not mine doesn't mean I don't want it to look good. No point in doing things wrong. Or the best you could do it. Now, a lot of this is going to be covered inside the chariot. No, I don't normally paint for people. And I don't paint for people if they're paying me. So this is, Marty asked me if you wouldn't mind making a couple of banners for him. And, yeah. He gave me a bunch of figures. I'm not sure when I'll use them again, but I don't mind doing stuff. I don't mind doing stuff for people as long as it's something I don't mind doing. Like I wouldn't go over to my neighbor's house and just mow his lawn just because I felt like it, because that's unpleasant. But painting something that's cool, I think Mitch has one of my camps, and Luke, I painted an artillery piece for his 100 Years War English. And the nicest thing you could do to me is if I give you something like that is just take care of it. Just, respect it, enjoy it. And, it's a one-of-a-kind piece. So that's, we don't do these hobbies for the money. At least I don't. There's no money in it. Okay. Let's see what we got. Okay, so Lurker Central. Hey, like I said, you guys want to ask me something? Be more than happy to get the mental juices going, because this is pretty mindless. Okay, so we're going to do white. Let's get this guy here. This is, what color is this? Pale sand. Pale face sand. liquid motivation here, also known as iced coffee. Might have to drink something different later tonight. But for now, iced coffee. All right. I'm not super particular what color this is going to turn out. I'll need to darken it enough just to give it some depth here. Just paint the whole thing in this color. Doesn't cover really well, but that's all right. I'm gonna give it another shade. Let's just go over it with this, make it a little darker, and we'll build up from there. Make sure we don't have any notifications. We're not. Okay, cool. All right. Add more of this. Yeah, a little bit of winter weather that we had here is gone now. It's going to be up in the mid 70s today, which really stinks because any game videos we film are definitely going to have the air conditioning on, which means you'll have that drone in the background. So. All right, now we can kind of look at the emblem because we're going to want some of it in as dark as that. Let's see. Well, I know what I'm going to do on the big one. And if I don't have, I do have one. Perfect. I do have a toothpick. We're going to need that in a little bit. No, we could just do the same Tanit symbol on both, and the other one we could just do some other stuff on the bottom because it is long. It's much longer. So let's get started and see what happens. Let's give this a red. There is a red there already. How alive is that thing? I don't know if it's tanite or tanit, but this is for the early Carthaginian list, so this is pre-Hannibal. All right, we need to do a triangle. Got it. All right, gotcha. All right, which side do we like better for the front? Let's do this one. And this brush isn't going to cut it. We need one that has a little bit more control. And I don't mind if I booger something up and I have to clean it up. It's not a big a deal. Not that big a deal. At all. Yeah, there's a little triangle. Yeah, how far did the arms go? The arms go as wide as the edge of the triangle. Cool. All right, then we need to make a little circle. And we may have to, if we booger that up, we may have to use the toothpick to fix the center up a little bit. We'll see. Okay, here's your basic shape. Oh, it doesn't focus worth a damn. Why is this live chat box coming up? Here we go. Let's try this. Okay, there's your basic shape. All right. Let's fill that in now. Okay. All right, that's what we're going to leave at this point. Now we're going to switch back to the linen color and fill everything in. And we are going to do one other thing. We are going to take this here, and we're going to paint the edge of this color. And it on the back side. All right, now we'll go back to the linen color. Okay, and let's add a little bit more of this linen color. I like to thin it down for a couple of reasons. You don't cover up any detail, which isn't really an issue with painting this, but also you have some transparency left with the colors that come before it. So it smooths the transition from one to the next just enough that it's not so darn drastic. Okay, and we'll go and do the other side. It's twofold, so. Yeah. We're gonna need some new white. Geez, how to get to beat 10 already? How to get to be 10? Okay. Yesterday I went to do other non-gaming related things. Went to go shopping, stock up on the weekly shopping visit, and apparently there's another run on toilet paper again. People are just such idiots. You know, like, why is there a run on toilet paper? It's going to be never ending. This is the new normal from now on. It must be terrible to be in a panic mode all the time. I want the economy to slow down a little bit in what I do at least and be able to catch up. We're super busy. We're so busy can't take vacation. But okay, so this is pretty close to about where we're going to leave it at. At least with the linen shade. Now, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to this red that's over here. And we're going to go over it again with the straight red. Okay. So And then down here at the bottom, we're going to add some flanging here. Okay. And now let's take this color. We can use this same one that we had. We don't have to use white. Okay. And in the banners and in the figure as well. Show you what I got here. And then this is going to go on one of these chariots here. Be nice if we could focus on it. Anyhow, that's the one. All right, what do we need? Some more water, iced coffee? Before we do the other one? Be right back, folks. Let's pour us motivational beverage. Okay, and you have a little bit of a snack too. All right. We're gonna do something new with this too, that I've never done before. All right, this one. Instead, we're gonna make it red. Enjoy my week off. Yep, I'm planning on it. and I plan on not watching much television. Not that I watch any television at all. I just don't like to sit there and watch things. I'd rather make things happen. Hard to get excited about watching things on television. And then you watch them and they end up being underwhelming. I mean television, I mean movies too. Just underwhelming. The other thing that's happened though is I'm really enjoying painting, but I have almost zero interest in not in painting while I'm not filming. I have almost no interest in even something simple. Like you guys saw that I did these banners yesterday, waiting for them to dry. I could have very easily just painted them black and have them already black before we started. I just have zero motivation to do that. I just have a hard time staying on track. So filming all this stuff really makes it a lot easier for me to do that. So. All right, so what are we going to do on this one? Well, we're going to put the same symbol in white, and then we're going to do the edging here and the edging all the way up across the sides as well. So that's at least what we're planning. We can probably go ahead and do the back completely because, well, we're still going to have an edge on that, so we're going to put the symbol on there first, though. All right. And you guys are pretty dormant today. I guess none of you guys are playing hooky or at work. Okay. Let's get the whole white out. Oh, what do we got here? What's this? Uh-huh. All right. And then we're going to do some bordering down here. We'll do a thin border here. And a thin border here. And we'll do one across the bottom. Of course, we'll do the sides as well. See what I got so far. Okay. Like just adding that little bit of white inside of it makes it pop. Hello from snowy Russia. Man, I wish we had some snow. Well, if you're just joining us, I have these two chariots that my buddy Marty, I didn't paint them for him. He just already had them. I don't know who painted them, but let me get rid of this chat box so I can even see what I'm showing you guys. Looks like they're Essex chariots, and he wanted me to make a couple of Carthaginian banners for him. So I'm painting the banners, and we'll put them on these things here. So I made them yesterday out of green stuff, so he also needed me to glue this thing down. So. He also texted he's on the way, so I've got a hard stop in probably an hour and a half for sure. Start getting ready for that, but I don't think I'm going to need the hour and a half to get done with this. So that's what we are doing. So. The good old Carthaginians, right? That's like it's a very popular army. Very popular army. One of the most popular armies, I would say. Definitely in the top 10, maybe even in the top 5 that I've seen. Maybe even top 3. If you're not going to break down the Romans into separate categories based on their army, then the Romans are definitely the most popular army in DBA, and the Romans are definitely the most popular civilization in DBA. But you know, they've got so many versions of Romans that you just can't help that being the case. But if that's not the case, definitely one of the top 5 most popular armies is the Carthaginians. Now, this is the early Carthaginian list that has these chariots, so it's the later Carthaginian list really that would be the really popular armor, thanks to Hannibal and his antics. What do I do besides DBA? Miniatures painting? Nothing. I was doing a little bit of Gaslands, but I'm the only one that paints the vehicles. Everybody else just paints with them, just plays with them unpainted, and we haven't played in a year. It's significantly more complicated than DBA. So we haven't played that in a year. But other than that, I don't do any miniatures gaming other than this. This takes up all of my time. I paint extremely slow, so I paint extremely slow. So this is all I do. This takes up a lot of time. So if I do other things, it ends up meaning that I do less of each, and I don't really want to do that. So one of the things that I really like about DBA is making the terrain and the battlefield look doesn't consume a lot of time. Okay, you can make buildings, hills, all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't take. It's not like you're building a Normandy village for a World War II skirmish game or something like that. You know, that's just open-ended, you know, never-ending stuff. So I really don't have time to do other stuff because of work, mainly. Damn work. So I think we're done with all the highlighting we need to do in there. Let's go ahead and grab this here and darken this. Yeah, so this is the only miniatures gaming I did. About 15 years ago, I was doing World War II skirmish as well, but I don't have time to, even though World War II is really the period of my interest, or at least at the time, I got tired of not being able to find out any. I'm really interested in a very small piece of the pie, so it becomes difficult to find information or interesting books to read on what I really want to read about. And but that's mainly what my gaming was World War II. But it just, you know, you got to do all the terrain and you have to set up, and you spend an hour to set it up, and it's just too complicated. You know, I'm not willing to play a DBA type game when it comes to World War II. I want to count rivets and millimeters of armor on different vehicles. So, but I'm perfectly happy playing this DBA as generic and as it is. It doesn't bother me. But I think I'm gonna have to bring some more red down because this one's this one, isn't it? I think so. Do I make money with this hobby? No. Nope. Nope. And that's okay. I don't do this for the money. I do things I dislike for money. I don't dislike doing this. This takes forever, but I don't dislike doing this. So I don't paint for other people. Other people have offered. I'm like, no. I would. I'm just not gonna. There's people out there that if you want your stuff painted, you can get them to do it. There's some reasonable prices out there, I think. But yeah, by the time I'm done, I'm getting paid about $1 a figure, and it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. I'd rather paint the army for myself, and then you guys get to see them on videos. So. Used to be you could get a painted DBA army, painted pretty well, for under $150. That's cheap. I spend 4 hours a figure. And I'm not going to do a crappier job on it just to be done quicker. That's just not in my personality. I'm going to try to do this as good as I can. Well, that's not true. I could spend 30 hours working on these banners, but I'm not going to. I want to get them to Marty when he comes up today, so he can put his army to use. But he's not paying me anything for this. He just, he gave me a bunch of figures and asked if I didn't mind building a couple banners for him, and I don't. I learned how to do some stuff out of green stuff, which I've had. So, But no, I don't paint. I don't paint for money. I don't know that I would. I mean, if you gave me whatever I wanted to, I don't know if I still would, because I need the figures to do videos with them. And it just becomes a chore. One of the first things I ever did, and I don't think I was even 20 years old, is some guy, he was a World War II vet. He came to the store that I was working on at the time and offered me, I don't know, $100 or something like that to build a model and paint it. And I hated every minute of it. I absolutely hated every minute of it. I wanted to do anything but that. So, I learned early on I do not want people to pay me for me to work on my hobby, because it becomes a chore. So. But there's other people out there that paint figures and never play, so, All right, let's go up a little bit more. Let's see what we got so far. Got to put some kind of a background behind it so it focuses on it. There we go. It's not the best banner I could do, but hey, I'm just learning how to do this stuff. Not painting the banner, but, the green stuff. So. The whole experience was positive. I don't like how long it takes to dry. I don't like how long the green stuff takes to dry. How many ready-made armies have you already made? You mean armies that were already like prepackaged all the figures? Only one. My my Essex Rajputs were a ready-made pack. I don't like ready-made armies. It takes the thing that's the most fun for me. The most fun thing for me, even more than playing the game, is figuring out who makes the figures and looking for them and figuring out how to buy them and how many of each pack. I'm crazy like that. That's what I enjoy doing. I feel like I'm really good at it too. So I love surfing figures and then remembering, okay, well, who makes these guys, and these would be good for that. That's what I really enjoy doing. So if somebody gives me a pack of figures and it's already put together how they want, that takes a big part of the fun out of it. That's almost like somebody saying, oh, okay, well, this army, this is how you're going to paint it. Well, wait a second. I want to figure out how I want to paint it. My interpretation of what these fellows might have looked like. But other people, I know a friend of mine, he detested having extra figures. He couldn't stand it. It was like it was burning a hole in his soul. So I love having extra figures because you never know when you're gonna need to use them on. So ready-made armies, only of the Essex or packs or whatever. I've only painted one. I won them in a tournament. I think I won them in a tournament, and yeah, it was like the fourth army I built, something like that. The Rajputs, and they're sometimes on videos. They've been on videos several times. They're they're not the correct figures, and I'm saying that because they're used out of Essex's Mogul range, which is 1500s. Their figures are based on that, and you're representing something that's 400 years earlier or so. But that's as close as you're going to get because nobody makes Indian armies of the 10th and 11th and 12th century. Nobody makes specific figures for that as of yet. All right, let's get some of this. We don't want to go too pink. It's not that kind of a Carthaginian. Let's see. This, I hope this isn't too bright. Nah, we're okay. My time is worth more than the figures are worth. I remember the first army I ever painted for DBA. Not ever, but just for DBA. My first army paint I painted was my feudal Spanish, and I spent $200 worth on the figures. Because I got like every pack that Old Glory made of this, because I wanted to mix and match them, and I got some minifigs, and I got manufacturers from all different directions. My first army I ever built was from different manufacturers on purpose, so that's kind of my MO. If I'm gonna spend 4 hours painting a figure, I want to paint the miniature I want to paint, not whatever the manufacturer decides to throw in the box for me. It's worth it for me. I'm sure I'm the minority, but that's why I do it. That's why I do what I do. All right, I'll show you what I got here, folks. Bring this up a little bit more. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad for something free. Where's the other one? It's not perfect, but Hey, it's my first attempt at this thing. It's better than making it out of paper, not be very durable. So, I'd be happy with that if it was for me. All right, we're going to do something I've never done before. We're going to seal these, but we're going to seal these with acrylic because I don't want to go out there and spray this stuff and do multiple coats of it and everything. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to use this stuff, flat clear. I've used it before, but we're going to wait for this stuff to dry a little bit because we want to make sure it doesn't not necessarily react, but bring it back to life. You know, because I'm pretty happy with how these things turned out, and it'd be nice to have something like that on there. So. Looking good. We don't want to do a crappy job. So, anyhow, let those dry for a little bit. Let's go back to Mr. Hungarian Night. Oh. Man, my shoulders are tense. And not from this. All right. Water bottle down here. Trying to get my 30 minutes of cardio every day. We all need to do that, so. It's real easy to not get that done when you sit around at the office all day and sit around on your day off also, so. It's really hard for that to do that when you live in a hot ass place like Florida. I would rather be outside for 30 minutes in the snow, no doubt. Maybe not if I had to shovel it, but I love cold weather. I love cold weather. So let's take this metal, and we put the Nuln Oil on here, and gave it like a wash. And now we're going to go in with the same color, and we're going to brighten those spots up. Not everywhere, but in some places. And did it just die? Let's put some more out there. Let's put some more on here. Do 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 do. Yeah, I'm not sure who painted those chariots for him. Marty doesn't paint either. We had this conversation the other day. Was it yesterday? I believe it was Martin in Germany. He couldn't believe that most people did not paint their own figures. I would say a third of the people in the United States, I'm just pulling a number out of the sky, and I'm just going to talk about DBA stuff. A third of the people that play DBA paint their own figures that I've come in contact with. Just seems like it. Now, it may be different for other rule systems, but most people don't paint, you know. I just, I started painting when I was early, and I was like, I couldn't afford to have somebody paint figures for me. And I've always been artistic, so it made no sense for me to pay somebody to paint. And I enjoyed it. Obviously, if it's something you don't enjoy, there's no point in doing it. As long as it takes me to paint, I would probably be better off getting in a second job and using that to pay for somebody to paint for me, and I would come out ahead on time spent painting. Because I think even the army that I've painted the quickest still is a couple hundred hours. So I could easily get an army painted for $400. Easy. I don't think there's anybody who has an army for sale more than $400. And there's some people out there that paint good enough that I'd be happy with if mine turned out that way. So if I spent $400 on an army, and I'd be better off just working a part-time job, earning the $400 and paying that person. It would take me less than the 200 hours it does for me to paint this. But it's the whole point of painting your own army for me. I don't poo-poo people that pay not that buy other people's armies, but it's like, I can do it, so why shouldn't I? And I enjoy it, and it's therapy. It's therapeutic for me. This is not stressful. This guy's gonna have. I think this guy's gonna have a white feather. White feather or a red feather? Yeah, I love to wear long sleeves, and I never can. And I'm hot all the time, so. Oh, one of these days will be cold. We had a little snap a couple weeks ago. It was nice. And then we're back to, I think it's going to get close to 76, 77 degrees Fahrenheit today. So we're supposed to film with a video. Probably have to have the damn air conditioning running, which I don't mind it running. I just don't like it having that drone sound in the background. But, even if I could deal with it and just sweat it out, everybody else would have to as well. So that's not really feasible. Only time I like hot weather is when I'm wet, like at the beach or something like that. Okay, I think we're good with that. We come in with a lighter shade. Let's see how these guys are doing over here. Yeah, see, the other thing is even though this paint is not a gloss paint, it's glossy. You can see shine on here. So when you end up putting the sealant on it and flatten it eliminates that, and it looks a heck of a lot better. So. Whew. And no, I'm not telling you guys what we're gaming tonight. Because if it changes, then, I'm on trial. Like I said earlier, if I plan to do something and it means that I have to change my plans, I'm upset too. I don't want things to not go according to plan. Oh man, this coffee is not working. Whew. All right, that's about all we need to do on that. These things dry out. Let's check the back. Let's start with a little one. We painted it first. This is not normally how I seal things. Normally I would spray gloss, spray flat, and then brush on flat. You know what? I could probably use the good stuff. Let's use the good stuff. Let's use the enamel one. This stuff works really well, but you can't go over anything you brush on. So you have to brush on. It doesn't matter how thick you have it. Just brush it on and don't go over it because it starts becoming tacky immediately. And as soon as it becomes tacky, you end up picking up off the paint that you had underneath there and damaging what you spent all this time doing. So. Yeah, this stuff smells pretty strong. This is what you want to. This is what you would want to mess with if you wanted to get high. But I'd just assume have a beer if I wanted to go to a different place. All right, we're just gonna brush this on. Done. Now, if this was an enamel paint I used, it'd be a problem because it would reactivate it. Now, I'm gonna see if I can get away with showing you guys. You see how glossy that is? Okay, and don't forget the pole like I did over here. Okay. Let these dry. This is going to start getting flat real quick. And the colors pop. That's our two banners. And okay. Use the little boy's room. I'll be right back. All right. Hey Rick, how you doing? Good morning yeah, it's still good morning. It's still morning here. It's going to be a lovely about 70 degrees today, which is, oh, I'm sorry. No, like 76 degrees, which is way too freaking hot to be in the game shed, so Mitch needs to get off his ass and work a little harder so he can have a nice painting room, like a nice gaming room like you do. Of course, the problem with your gaming room is you have so many games that it would be really distracting to play in there. But it seems like it's really well organized. But I think you pretty much win the contest for having the nicest game room. That's really pretty impressive. But yeah, I need to let that dry a little bit more. All right, so we're going to. We need to epoxy this guy down, and I'm gonna try to fix this a little bit. I'm curious, have you actually seen somebody who has a gaming room that you like better than your own? Like I'll do that with like painting areas. Like I've seen people that have some really impressive painting areas. I don't like anybody's paintings area more than mine. It has just too much stuff in it, or it's in a garage, or I don't paint in heat. Period. So right now it's 73 in the house, or 72 or something like that. Fans on high, and all is good. But I don't paint in the heat. So, okay, we're gonna have to epoxy this guy down, and then the little banner we're gonna put on one of these guys. Um, we're gonna put it on this guy. We're gonna put the little banner here off to the side, and we're gonna put the big banner, I think, more towards the middle, and we'll go ahead and glue this, epoxy that down. You epoxy things down, and it's done. End of story. Um, Yeah, it looks like he had this on plastic card and then put Litgo stands on the bottom of it. Um, but anywho, how are we doing here? Almost, almost. I'm impatient. I'm not used to having to wait for things. Let's let's go ahead and mix this up some epoxy because I gotta get this done before he comes over. He's already en route, so I suspect he's probably going to get there about 1, and I'm going to want to be there before that, and I need to pack up. I detest packing up for anything. That's my pet peeve. I'm afraid that if I pack too far in advance, that it'll get canceled and I wasted my time packing. So I'll have to make a list and make sure that we don't forget to bring some stuff in it. What is it with the chariots? I agree. This is like a book one army. What is it with the chariots? This is my buddy Marty. He wanted me to build a couple of banners for his chariots. There was 2 chariots. I'm not sure who painted them. I know he didn't because he doesn't paint. So he's recently retired, and he's been coming up to our game days, our Monday game days, every month, once a month. And I talked him into, hey, why don't you come over this Monday because I'm freaking off. So we're going to do a couple of games, and of DBA, of course. And I want to get these done. He dropped these off last time. I want to kind of surprise him with these things. But these are just T-pins on here that I did with some green stuff. I made them yesterday, and I'm painting them this morning for his Carthaginians. So, yeah, that's what it is. So I'm not sure who painted these things. He's not a painter. He gets other people to paint things for him. But I have a feeling he's had these for a long time. But he wanted one. He wanted one to be like the commander because it's for the early Carthaginian army. So that's what we're doing. So this is our first shot at making some green stuff banners. So if we can get that to focus. So anyhow, honestly, no. I've definitely seen people with more games, but often they're organized like a warehouse, just like a big metal shelving units, aisles and aisles and aisles. Okay. Which is awesome, but not quite the look I like, which is more homey and presented a little nicer. Yeah, that's. I just can't have that many games. I'm just afraid of playing things wrong. I have a phobia with playing the game wrong. Maybe it comes from DBA. I don't think it was a problem before DBA, but since we film everything and we're kind of the tip of the sword on a lot of this DBA stuff, I don't want to. I don't want to lead people astray, and because of that, I've been kind of trying to be a perfectionist about getting the rules right. Even though apparently I'm not watching people like I should. Hey, I'm not really paying attention to the game if I'm not the one playing. I'm on whiskey break. So yeah, that happens. But yeah, I don't. I just don't have the time to read rules. I like playing different games, but I hate trying to discern the rules. I don't know. Maybe that's a sign of being older. You know, I don't want to do that anymore. But that doesn't mean I don't want to play complicated things. I just don't want to. I don't want to figure it all out. So I wish DBA was more complicated. Honestly, I wish the conforming was easier and more natural and easier to explain to people. And I wish the combat values for different units was a little bit more complicated, so you have more variety. So expect to see both of those things in any future rules that I may do. Hint, hint. Renaissance. Hint, hint. Wherever I get around to that. We'll have to wait for the economy to go in the shitter for me to start working on that. I started doing the RRR in 2009 when we're the slowest we've ever been, and right now we're the busiest we've ever been. So if we have some kind of an economic slowdown, then I'll have a little bit less stress at work and more time and motivation to do that sort of thing. Okay. Yeah, your game area is super cool, but I don't have a lot of stuff from the standpoint of gamers, and you have. I mean, it's just out of control. Well, it's what you do, you know. It's what you do. But I think you mentioned in one of your videos, you're the guy that has the gaming area. People come to your place. You run all the games. You're like the point. You're like the tip of the sword. Something happens to you, they're screwed, right? Hopefully, I bet a lot of groups are like that. I bet a lot of groups like one person is the main one, and if they don't show up or if they don't buy new games or learn how to play them, then no, it's like it's hard to get people to step up to be in that position. I can see that being the case in a lot of places. Let's see if we can get away with doing this. I think we can. I think we can. I think I can. Okay, now unfortunately I have no way of getting around the tiny little bit of the end is not going to be painted, but it's going to be hidden down here in the nether regions of these chariots. So let's not make the same mistake I did a couple of weeks ago with I don't know what. We're going to let this thing harden because we're going to definitely need these to be, well, we don't have to, we can go ahead and glue this down. We can, do these match this? Let's see. That one matches that one. That one matches that one. Okay, cool. So we're going to put some of this goop, technical term, goop. And we're going to put this here in these spots. And you can go ahead and start hardening the epoxy. I used to use the two-part epoxy that came out of the tube that you squeeze both at the same time. Don't buy that, folks. It's impossible to. It's not that it needs to be so precise to the mix. I think if you do like a 60 to 40 mix of resin and hardener, one to the other, it's probably you're still going to get a good bond. It's an issue of invariably one of them is thicker than the other, and you go to push it and you start even, and then the next time you use it, you have to push more on one side than the other so that they come out at the same amount, and then the next time a little bit more, and it just makes a mess, even as careful as you are. And if you guys have seen any of my videos, I am not a fan of making a mess when I'm doing my hobby. It's I mean, I'm working with little stuff. There's no reason why it should create that type of an environment. Um, but anyhow, let's see. I don't want to use anything metal. I don't want to scrape these guys up. Let's see how let's see how this little guy fits here. Let's see how this little guy fits here. That's going to be the commander. We're going to do the commander on that guy. This guy's blonde, and Carthaginians tend to not be blonde. So this guy's an imposter in our army, and we'll use you because you fight like a badass. But you're not one of us. Damn it! That's my fluff backstory to these guys. Let's see. Wow, what's the issue here? Let's take my glasses off so I can see. Okay. The problem with this chariot is it's not. If I break it, I gotta fix it. It's not even with the ground, which means that I put the banner in there and it's wanting to look tilted down. Yeah, I should be able to fit here fine, but I'm gonna have to put a lot of epoxy on there. Okay, well, are we hardened up yet? Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, we're getting there. That's very true. The host game provider, honestly, I'd love it if my friends' game group were interested in introducing games to me. Yeah, but they're mostly just interested in the playing, socializing, and leaving the game, hunting, and rules explained to me, which is fine. Better than not gaming at all. Yeah, as long as they're good sports. And I'm at least very fortunate that the folks that I game with all have a good attitude. So, because I wouldn't put up with that crap. I've actually been really fortunate in that all my life, having folks that. Well, I think you can kind of create that same thing yourself. I mean, if you're a butthole, don't expect everybody else to be nice. If you cheat, don't expect everybody to play by the rules. So you can kind of set that whole pace yourself. All right, let's do the little banner. Yeah, I gotta wait for this to set like this, and I may not have enough time to do both, but that's okay. Let me think how I'm gonna do this. You got to be very careful. Okay, we're gonna do the front. Here's the messy part. I just love, folks. Well, that's going to hold in there. And now we're just going to take a little bit of this off. We do need it to be kind of firm in there so that this will hold. Okay. And let's see if we can do, or we waited too long. We waited too long. It happens. It happened to me with the other one. That's okay. It's like too wet, too wet, too wet, too wet. Oh, it's drying. Oh, shit. Yep. That's how it is. Hey, it's better than being at work. A bad day gaming beats a good day at work anytime. Well, it depends what a bad day gaming is. A bad day gaming could be somebody sitting on all your figures. In that case, no. All right, we'll let this set for a little bit. And yeah, so Rick, I was mentioning somebody yesterday I think it was yesterday or the day before, they were talking about on the feed that they were surprised. This was somebody who was in Germany. They were surprised that not everybody painted their own figures for wargaming. And I told them that in the US, I would say that at least just in the DBA stuff, I would say that a third of the people probably paint their own figures. And he was surprised that the number was that low, but that's just been my experience. I mean, most people don't paint their own stuff. Now I know you buy painted stuff, and that's fine. I mean, it would take you forever and a day to paint. What was it, 1,100 figures or something like that that you had? That's a colossal amount of stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you paint your own stuff, do you really want to start that campaign 6 years from now? You may not have some of the same players that are available in your area anymore. So, but for me, it's the painting part is therapy. So I can't really send someone else to go to therapy for me. I kind of have to attend myself. So I'm forced to doing my own painting. My wife actually has no problem with me painting, buying more things as long as I use them. But I can't get somebody else to paint my stuff. It's the rule. I have to paint my own things, and I agree. But yeah, he was surprised that that people painted asked other people to paint stuff. I can't imagine somebody paying me. I can't imagine somebody paying me to do the work because it's just at the end of the day, it's not worth it. I mean, money comes and goes. The enjoyment of putting all the figures together and using them in videos now, that's a relatively new thing for me to put them in videos. I mean, I want to have them around to show other people how to play the game and stuff. So money's just money, you know. I get paid to do things I dislike. I enjoy doing this. So if I get paid, I'd end up disliking it. All right. How are we doing here? How are we doing here? And let this set a little bit. If you don't wait for it to set, what happens is you set it. It's like, oh, it's perfect, and then you'll look away, and then it starts to set down. No, and then you end up getting epoxy on other things you don't want, and it ends up being like a disaster, a lunchroom disaster. So we don't want to do that. We do not want to do that. So let's figure out where we're gonna put this guy. I just assume put him here. I can't put it exactly in the middle. Put it here. That'd be all right. Yeah, let's put it there. Sometimes I do run into the stigma where people who pay for painting are kind of looked down upon. I've never heard of that. Never. I might experience more of that if I bought a commissioned 40K army, for example. Oh. Well, isn't the rumor that people that play 40K don't have their figures painted? They play without painted figures. Which, as much as those figures go for, I just don't see, the more expensive the figures are you're gaming, the better they've been, the more likely they should be painted. Has Games Workshop gone completely to plastic figures? I feel like they have. I just, I like the heft, man. I love the heft. Plastic figures, in my opinion, are only good for one thing. If you drop them on the floor, they don't weigh enough to crush themselves. But then again, what are you doing dropping them on the floor? Yeah, I like heavy metal, man. I like the heavy figures. First figures I had were plastic. Those 1/72nd scale Airfix MPC stuff. Good old MPC. Kicking it like it's 1981. But, that's all we had. And they didn't paint worth a damn. All right, I think we're close. I think we're close, folks. So I'm painting this for him for free, but there's going to be a fixing fee. Like, Daddy, I broke it again. I broke it again. I broke it again. Take better care of your stuff, dude. I don't know if that's even going to happen, but, you know. See what I mean? Even with all the best intention thing, it still falls down. I didn't want to drill a hole. I didn't want to remove the figures, drill a hole in there, have a stable point for this, you know. It'll be hard as nails in a moment. Yeah. I've painted one chariot army. I like painting chariots because I do all the reins and all that stuff too. But they're all in book one. So, you know, that's almost all of them. That keeps me. Oh, as a matter of fact, mine isn't in book one because I don't have a book one army. My terracotta warriors, my Qin dynasty have two heavy chariots. That's the only ones I painted. So, yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. It's going to be more durable than paper or aluminum foil. I wanted something to be hard, so if somebody accidentally grabbed it by that piece, it wouldn't like crumple. So, yeah. Now I have no idea how the hell I'm going to transport this to his house without it falling all over the place. Maybe we'll stick some magnets on the bottom, and they can go with the rest of the figures. So there you go, the two banners for the early Carthaginian heavy chariots. So, yeah. Pretty much all plastic, I'm with you. There's nothing like the heft of metal figure picking it up or sliding across the plane. Yeah. Well, this is my quick job on the banner, so, you know. Now they've got that Tanit god that you worship children to, right? You sacrifice your children to it. Nope, not my child. You don't. I would make a very good Carthaginian. Okay. Awesome. All right, what do we got? We got 11:15. We're probably going to have to cut this off because I got to get ready and pack some things to take. We've got two games we're going to be doing tonight, supposedly. We're going to do an event that will be unnamed. We've already decided what it is, but in case it changes, I don't want to have to explain myself why it changed. Like I said, I'm against change when I go through all the planning. So we've got one regular tournament type event we're going to be doing, and we got kind of a different thing we're going to be play testing tonight. That one will be off film, and rumor has it we'll be doing another event like the one this afternoon tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see if anything plans out. We're going to try to do some gaming here while we can, because it's very difficult to get together. It's going to be really difficult for me to get together with the folks in December, at the way it looks like, and probably January as well. So, all right, folks. Well, that's it. Thanks for joining me, and as always, like and subscribe, and for more painting videos, gaming videos, and so forth. And stay tuned. You guys will probably see a couple of videos come up in the next couple of days, and you can just check those out. All right, folks. Have a good day. Happy Monday. Bye-bye.